On the Columbia River in the state of Washington, and some pretty exciting news is about to come about in unlimited racing. Let's go down to Jim Hendrick.
The Unlimited Hydro Hall of Fame is about to become a reality. Is that not true, Bob Williams?
Yes, indeed. After 6 years of work, we're dealing with King County in the state of Washington now on 5 acres of land and an existing building, and it looks very promising.
Will this be similar to baseball's Hall of Fame?
You bet. That's what we're trying to do, is save the history of this sport. 14 hulls and 10,000 items dating back to 1904.
Uniforms, pins, buttons, hats, boats.
Everything. Trophies. One of our big things is to tell the story of the men involved and the women in this sport.
And you're looking for help to further finance it?
You bet. But we always need the money.
Well, if you'd like to get on board with the Unlimited Hydroplane Hall of Fame and Museum, it's P.O. Box 48342, Seattle, Washington. That's 98148. They'd like to hear from you.
As we await the finals here in Tri-Cities, let's go for a Mercury update on Mod VP, Sacramento, California. Here's Chris Lincoln. Chris?
Thousands of powerboat racing fans have come to the banks of the Sacramento River for 3 days of fun, sun, and powerboat racing action. It's the 5th stop on the International Outboard Grand Prix Tour and the first trip back to Sacramento for champ boat points leader Don Johnston, who survived the dramatic crash with veteran driver Bill Seabold at last year's event. Johnston was understandably nervous about getting back on the water here.
Well, everybody will tell you they don't really think about it too much, but you do think about it. And when you're just out there running around by yourself, it's not too bad. But the first time that you end up in competition again, you think about it. It makes you drive a little bit cautiously for maybe 5 minutes, and then after that 5 minutes, hopefully you can go back and start running the boat competitively again and forget about the accident, put it behind you.
Seabold, too, has not had the best of luck on this course. He's raced here since 1984 and never won the event. Things seem to be looking up for the Bud Light entry when he took the pole position in Sunday's qualifying round. But water conditions were poor and the trials were rerun on Monday. Steve D'Souza in the Easy Loader ICOM America entry bumped Seabold into the number 2 slot and took the $1,000 bonus and the top time. D'Souza, a strong competitor, is just coming off a win at the 4th IOGP race in Baltimore. Specializing in a come-from-behind approach to winning, D'Souza hadn't counted on being on the pole. We talked to him about his strategy.
Well, today's plan is going to be a little bit different because we really weren't counting on having the pole position. The fact of the matter, we do have the pole position. We got a couple different options as to which propeller selection we want to run. And that's going to be based on the prevailing wind conditions and so forth, and we'll just have to make a decision at that point just before race time.
As the white flag dropped to begin the race, it looked like a 3-way battle for the lead. The Arcadian boat of Don Johnston jumped out in front with the number 3 position. But Seabold challenged his lead, passed him on the inside. Then D'Souza, in a power play of his own, passed Seabold, but couldn't hold on. And Seabold showed an amazing display of strength and pulled ahead. The bull move gave Seabold the lead for good, and at one point he enjoyed an 8-second lead on the field. Johnston, however, never gave up and narrowed the gap to 2 seconds at the end. Seabold was delighted with his first victory of the season and his first win ever at Sacramento.
Finally won in Sacramento after all these years. Yeah, and this is the first one this year, too. It's been a real dry spell. Thank you.
Final results showed Johnston had been penalized a lap for jumping the start, giving D'Souza the 2nd place position. Rounding out the top 5, Gilman Racing's Scott Gilman of Anaheim, California, and Bud Light's Mike Seabold of St. Louis, Missouri. Join us next time from Minneapolis, Minnesota, for the 49th Annual Aquatennial as the IOGP continues. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Chris, for that report. Over 100,000 awaiting the finals of the Budweiser Cup here in Tri-Cities, and we'll be back with all the action on the HFC American Hydroplane Series in just a moment.